Hello everyone, this is Barb Mullikin with barbstamps.com, and today I have a tutorial for you showing you how to make this ice cream sandwich treat box. So that belly band is designed to slip right off. Then the box opens and you can have a little gift card in there for someone's birthday. You could put in some jewelry, some Hershey's Nuggets treats, just whatever you'd like to fill the box with. I do have another sample to show you. This one's a little bit smaller, and this one I made it to be a Neapolitan filled ice cream sandwich. And then this belly band also slides right off. However, this box, the lid does remove completely, and you could have some candy treats in there, some money, or something else that might work. To create your ice cream sandwich box, you need a few tools. You will need a paper trimmer and scoring tool. This one happens to be an all-in-one. You will need a corner rounder. If you have a corner rounder punch, that will work just fine. This is our envelope punch board. It has a corner rounding punch up here at the top. You'll need a pair of scissors, a bone folder, some liquid glue or other adhesive of your choice, a piercing mat and piercing tool, and you'll also need some type of a grid paper. The squares on this piece are 1/4 inch. To get started to make this project, you need a piece of cardstock that is 6 7/8 by 7 3/8. Now my project actually used white. I used thick Whisper White cardstock because it's going to hold up a little bit better. But for ease of your viewing this video, I thought white on white would be difficult. So we're going to use the crumb cake. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer here, and we're going to do some scoring. So I've got the long edge, the 7 3/8 inch edge, along the top of my trimmer, and I'm going to start my scoring. The first score line is at 5/8 of an inch. Then I'm going to slide this over to 3 3/8 of an inch. Slide it over to 4, and finally pulling out the arm, and I'm going to slide it over to 6 3/4. Okay, now we're going to rotate the cardstock 90 degrees. We're going to score it at 5/8 of an inch from each edge. Okay, that's what we're left with. Here's what we have. Now we need to score, fold and score all of these edges, and you want to burnish them nicely so that they do lay the way you want them to lay when the box is closed and in between the two cookies. So I'm using my bone folder here, and I'm just giving these nice crisp creases all the way around the box, and especially on these two center score lines. And I'm also making sure they line up flush on the edges here when I burnish them. Now this one, I'm really burnishing it good in the center section, and then I'll pick up the tool and burnish those two little edge pieces. And then we have our final center score line here. Again, making sure the pieces line up on the edges. Burnish that center portion, and then out to the edges here. All right, so here's our piece all scored great. Now we're going to bring in a pair of scissors, and we are going to clip out. There's a little square right here and a little square right here. We're going to clip those out. And I do like to clip at a slight angle. I just feel like boxes go together nicer, lay nicer, if I go in there at an angle. Okay, snip that little piece off. Over here, same thing, just a very slight angle, just barely outside those score marks. Trim off that little piece. Now, moving on to this edge here, we're going to just snip to this score line. And when I say snip to the score line, yes to the score line, but again, just very, very slightly on the angle. So we actually pull out a little tiny piece of cardstock. Again, I just find that that makes boxes lay nicer, fold together better. And we're doing this on this opposite side as well. Again, it's just a tiny little snip out of there. Okay. Now we're going to be assembling this part of the box. I do like to use liquid glue for this. I like to have a little bit of wiggle room after I put my glue on so that I can manipulate my pieces into place, and I find that liquid glue does help with that. It can be a little messy, so do be careful. You don't want to put too much glue on because you don't want it squishing out all over the place. Okay, so we're just going to bring that end in, and we're just going to press that. Come over here to the other side, do the same thing, and press that. Okay. Now we're going to close the box to finish this, and we're going to put the glue on the other side on these two tabs. And with the box closed, you're going to fold the tabs in and fold that front flap over. Okay. Hold that in place for a couple seconds so the glue can attach. And the reason you do this is because you want the box to fold over itself, but if you just glue the tabs together without having this part come over, your box probably won't fit together very well. So our box is put together nicely and we can move on. This little piece right here is going to go inside the box as a divider tray. So you can see it is a 2 5/8 by 7 inch piece of cardstock. The scoring lines are you're going to go in 3/4 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/4 inch on both sides. For the folding, you are going to have the two innermost score lines are going to come up towards you. You do want to burnish all these. Then your next score line goes away. Final score line up. So you end up with this look here. Same thing on this side. Centermost score line folds in or up towards you. Next score line away from you. Final score line towards you. Okay, bringing our box back in, you just can burnish these 2 points again. You can glue it together if you want, but I don't find that it's necessary. And you just can lay that in the tray, and then you'll add your 2 candies here and your gift card here, or whatever else you're going to put in there. And then the box just closes up over itself. And now we're ready to do our cookies. For our cookies, I have 2 pieces of chocolate chip cardstock and a cut piece of grid paper. All these pieces measure 3 1/4 by 6. I'm going to stack them all together. I'm going to bring in a piercing mat and a piercing tool. And what I'm going to do is create the look of an ice cream sandwich cookie. They have holes poked in them, and I want to replicate that here. So what I'm going to do is, of course, this is 3 1/4 inches. This is 6. And since it's grid paper, it's going to be very easy for me to get these lines or these dots on the cookie lined up perfectly. So I'm going to start by coming in 2 and coming down 2. So this intersection right here is where my first hole is going to go. I'm going to skip that intersection, poke a hole in the next one, skip and do the next one. Do this all the way across these pieces. Okay, so the next thing, we're going to skip this next line and we're going to come down to the next line, but we're going to start over here so that these dots in our cookie are kind of staggered. So again, we're going every other one all the way across the cookie. Okay, skip a line, come down 1, and now we're mimicking our first line, and we're just going across. All right, I am going to finish this up for you. I'll be right back. Okay, I have now finished. You can see all the holes are going to be really evenly placed on here, and it's going to look really cool. Remove my paper, and I've got my 2 sheets. I'm going to do some corner rounding on these, so I'm going to stick them into my envelope punch board. If you have a corner rounder at home, that would work fine also. So I'll stick these in here. I think you could do 2 at a time, but I'm only going to do 1 at a time. And now I'll finish with the other one. Okay, I'm back. I've got both pieces done. Both of the corners are rounded. They've got the cookie holes poked into them. Now I'm going to flip them over. I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of gently knock down. If you look at this, you can even feel it. It's really raised on the back here, and it won't adhere to your box as well. So you just want to gently force those down so they're not sticking up quite as much, and they'll stick to your box a lot better. bring in our box here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my liquid glue again, and I'm just going to go along the edge of the box. And again, I like to use liquid glue just because then I have some what I call wiggle time. Okay. All right, so we'll take one of these. This is the back side. This is the kind of rough side. And I'm just going to place the box onto the cookie, trying to center it. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and then I'm going to open the box and just kind of press that in there. Okay, now we're going to place the other cookie on the box. Again, just use your liquid glue, go around. And of course, you can use other glue. You don't have to use liquid glue. I just find it's a little easier to control what I'm doing with the liquid glue. Again, bumpy side goes to the glue. And this one, you're just trying to line it up so that it is even with the other one that we put on. So as you're looking down at it, it looks pretty even. Okay, gently press that down. Open up the box. And then burnish that so that it's stuck really well. Put our little tray back in there. Okay, and now we're going to make our belly band to go around the box. What I've got here is I've got a 3/4 inch by 12 inch piece of designer series paper. This happens to be from our Tasty Treats package. And 12-inch cardstock, or excuse me, designer series paper does not fit all the way around the box, but we're going to make it fit, and we're also going to make it look pretty. So you want to lay your box on top of the strip, okay? And you're going to just make your own fold lines. You're going to just bring this up, kind of press that down. See how it made a little crease? And then you're just going to fold it. Okay. Put it back on. Bring it to the top. Fold that over. You've got your next fold line. Okay. Press that down. We've got this side done. Now we need to come back here and do this side. Same thing. Fold that up. Create your own fold line. Press it flat. Bring the box back in and come over the top with this one. Pinch that. And there we go. So now I've got this little label piece here. It comes out of the Lots of Labels framelits. This is a set of 7 different size labels. We are using, I believe this is, which one is it right there? I think it's the 3rd from the largest. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to add a little bit of glue right here and right here. We're going to center this piece on the box, side to side, top to bottom. And then we're going to bring our strip up and just place it on this tag. Okay. Press that down, let it get sealed. You don't want it super, super tight because you want it to be able to slide off, and I think that's good. Now, this doesn't look very pretty as it is, but we're going to make it look better. So I've got another tag that I cut out of Pool Party cardstock. This is from the 2nd largest tag. And I'm just going to add glue to the top of this tag here. And then I'll just stick this one right over the top of it. Centering it also. Okay. Slide that belly band off. Give that a good press. Then when someone looks at the back side of it, it still looks very pretty. Okay. Now to finish off your belly band, you can choose to decorate it however you'd like. I chose to use our Frozen Treats stamp set, or Cool Treats stamp set, and our Frozen Treats framelits dies to do this. I cut a little bowl, and all these dies come in the stamp set with the exception of this bow. Here's another one of the labels. So we've got the white label on top of the Pool Party label. I did stamp both of the ice creams and die cut those. I cropped the bowl, a little spoon out of our silver glimmer paper. The cherry is another die. And then this little bow comes out of our Cupcakes and Carousels embellishment kit. There's a little package of bows right in there. I just took one of those bows out. This little dot here comes from our Owl Builder punch. I just punched a little eyeball out of Watermelon Wonder. And then you can see that I just added all these pieces together and created my focal point. I did take a little bit of Wink of Stella and highlight the ice cream. So we could take that one out of here and we could slide this one on since it's already finished. And that would be our finished box. But the inside, if you do want to do some Hershey's Nuggets, I've got 4 Hershey's Nuggets here. 3 of them are already wrapped. The 4th one will be. You need 4 strips of Designer Series paper. These are 1 inch by 3 inch. These are also out of the, I believe it's the Tasty Treats Designer Series paper. I've got a glue dot on the bottom of this Hershey's Nugget right here. I'm just going to press that, and I'm going to get another glue dot. Take the end of my paper, find a glue dot here for you. Get a glue dot on there, so I've got a glue dot already on, glue dot this over the top, and there I have my 4 little nuggets. Now I'm going to switch boxes because I don't want to give anybody this box. It's not very pretty. Here is my finished box, and I would just go ahead and slide both of my, or all 4 of my little nuggets right in there. I did have another piece of Designer Series paper in here, and this piece measures, let's see if we can get that out. I didn't stick it in permanently. It measures 2 5/8 by, is this 5 5/8? About 5 5/8, maybe a little bit smaller. And then you can just press that in there just to give it a little more pizzazz when you open it up. And there it is, your ice cream sandwich treat box. Super cute. Pretty simple. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.